Poor John.
I was just thinking.
I'm taking it all in. I'm taking it all in. It's good.
Well, but you've traveled widely throughout the world and worked with a wide variety of healers, and of course your work is in assisting people deal with the physical results
Right.
of unfinished emotions, I think is perhaps the best way to put it.
Well, I've worked on thousands and thousands of people in just about every country. And in my opinion, 98% of their problems are emotionally based. I have to make them conscious they're actually doing this to themselves. And, cancer is epidemic. This country, there's more people with cancer in this country than there's ever been. And 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, I would see maybe one cancer patient a week or once a month. Now I'm seeing like 7 a day. Everyone has some form of cancer, and it's straining to me because there's so much fear. And I need to take their fear and change it to hope.
Well,
First step.
May I ask you, just as an aside, what are the fears that, because just to say fear to me is a general word, but break it down. What are the fears that you see as most prevalent in people today?
Losing my wife, losing my job, my children will get in trouble. Fears that stem from sugar. Sugar.
Losing my wife is a fear that stems from sugar?
How much sugar do you do all day? I find that
but what's that got to do with losing one's wife or husband?
Well, they imagine this. They create fears in their mind. People with heavy sugar addictions
become paranoid.
Terribly.
Well, they become heavy.
Well, they become heavy, but the sugar we know it's a leading cause of stress. Sugar is a heavy stressor, but I found through just reading emotions that people with heavy sugar diets, they come in, well, this might happen, well, that might happen.
Do you think that has to do with weight gain?
Of course.
And obesity? So obesity equals paranoia?
Of course.
And loss, okay.
Well, I don't know if the weight gain relates to the paranoia, but from doing thousands and thousands of people, they come in, if they're heavy sugar eaters, that they are so full of fear. We know they're stressed. And but the ones that do heavy sugar diets, number one, sugar is a cancer food. Cancer feeds off sugar. And if you have any, one cell with cancer, you need to stay away from the sugar. But they're so full of fear, and they make up stuff like, your husband loves you, everything's fine. Well, I don't know. Well, my kids might get in trouble. And they're creating these fears out of everyday. I said, this is just life. Just get over it. This is life. But the diet has so much to do with it.
I never heard that.
It hits the adrenals.
Yeah, the adrenals up. Their blood sugar goes up.
Brilliant.
Caffeine's a little bit like that too.
Frank Duffy wrote a book back in the 70s called Sugar Blues.
Yeah. It's so true too. It is so true.
And remember, I say the most common illness in the world is depression. And so it goes back to sugar. I mean, I remember about 20 years ago when the pop industry was bragging that the average for the country was a gallon of pop a week. And they were looking forward to making it 2 gallons.
Not much. I mean, today?
A gallon? No, a week. A gallon a week of every 12 ounces has 10 teaspoons of sugar.
People drink much more.
But you can't
that's my point.
You can't buy a 12 ounce every time if you go to fast food. Get the big 32 ounce, the 44. Like you're taking 4 ounces of sugar in one drink. And I find kids bring, I owned a health club, and they would bring their kids to the health club. And on the way, they would stop by a McDonald's fast food restaurant, and they give them this, load them with sugar, and then put them in the nursery. And when they pick them up, well, my kid has bites all over him. Well, of course he does. They wire them and then put them all together, and they're, and then why is my kid bitten all up? Well, he probably bit a few himself. But the sugar, I know. But the fear, I feel the leading cause of fear is sugar. And the big problem now, which is epidemic again, is putting the children on Ritalin. Yeah. Now I had a lady bring her child to me. He was about a 6-year-old, and she says, they're going to the school insists, the principal and the teachers insist, I put my son on Ritalin. And probably 70% of the school children in the Georgia public school system, they've got him on that. And I said, no, we can change his diet. Well, he's out of control. And the more I worked on him, as I worked on him, I said, we'll change his diet. And for 2 weeks, he stayed strict to my diet. And I talked to his mother, brought him in again, and she says, we went to the PTA meeting, and his teacher came up and said, I'm so happy we got him on this Ritalin because he is so good in school. His grades have gone up. He's so calm. And he went bragging on the boy how great he was. And then he came walking up and he says, I'm not on Ritalin. I changed my diet. It was so cute to hear. But he just told the teacher and the principal, everyone, but they'll put them on the drug right away. Well, there's jobs that you can't get if you've ever been on that drug, like Merchant Marines. There's a few places that will not take you in as an employee.
If you've been on Ritalin?
Right. But the school system will put them on Ritalin so fast. And it's just to change the diet.
And grab a castor oil pack and put it on and see what happens. That helps.
But you know, parents are lazy.
They are.
They won't work like that to adjust the diet. They will not.
Well, some of them will.
Yeah,
some of us will.
But, no, some will. But I mean, you know, some. But Gladys, you know for a fact, it's a rare person that attends like
well,
that.
speaking of one of the great pimps of all time,
Oh, good.
Fred Astaire, a professor of nutrition at Harvard, was hired by the sugar industry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And used to publish that sugar was good for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's where there is what I would call fake, dishonest, totally immoral science that has influenced millions of people.
And I think that brings the discussion to one of the core issues. But a lot of these psychological and cultural changes that go on are really driven by big corporations that have financial interests. They control the advertising. They control the advertising. A lot of times parents may be well-meaning, but they get their information from the TV, from the advertising, and so they think that they're doing the right thing for their kids, but the big corporations that have an interest, you know, are really influencing the debate. And go back to the 19th century, a lot of these alternative medical techniques like homeopathy, things like that, were actually practiced in America. In the early 20th century, when certain large financial interests began becoming powerful, the AMA was created, the FDA was created, and they made all those things illegal. You have to have drugs, you have to have surgery, and that's it. And so a lot of the sort of the belief system today has been influenced by vested interests that have a certain financial gain from limiting what we can use.
A huge financial gain.
Yeah, I mean, like, talk about control.
Yeah.
They have virtually total control at this point, and it's gotten more so every decade.